Dogs are loyal to humans and have been for thousands of years, but are they loyal to each other? Here's a heartwarming story about two dogs who endured dangerous hardship through no fault of their own. It will make you question the loyalty of dogs, the intelligence of dogs, and how far your own dog might go to save your life or that of a littermate someday. Denis Malifayev is a Ukrainian man well known for his love of animals, and many people in the community seek him out when an animal needs help. Because of this, someone called Denis immediately about the dog on the train tracks. Denis rushed to the scene after taking the phone call in December of 2016, a very cold month in the Ukraine. The friend on the telephone told Denis that there had been two dogs stranded on the railroad tracks near the town for 2 days. In December in the Ukraine, nighttime temperatures can get down to freezing, and Denis could not imagine the fear the two dogs were feeling on the tracks. Why were they there? Denis knew that the dogs would not survive out on the railroad tracks for long and began to walk toward them cautiously in case they were frightened of him. As he approached, he noticed that the female dog was trying to move and get up, but couldn't. Denis moved in to see what might be the matter with her, but it was then that it happened. The other dog, who looked very much like her and might be her littermate, growled at Denis, lowering his head and baring his teeth in the cold, snowy daylight. He didn't want Denis to come any closer. Denis knew from his experience with animals that it's never a good idea to approach an angry or frightened dog out in the open. The dog was clearly trying to protect the female dog, who Denis suspected might be his sister. Denis backed off the tracks and sat down on a nearby rock. He gazed at the animals calmly, trying to communicate his desire to help without causing them fear. They gazed steadily back at him, but did not move. Then it happened. Denis heard the damning sound of a speeding train whistle as tons of steel and metal headed their way on the tracks. Tears leapt to Denis's eyes as he frantically tried to think of what he could do to save the two animals. He started toward them again, and the brother rushed to his sister's side. Then he did something surprising. He laid down calmly at his sister's side, prepared to die with her beneath the approaching train. Both dogs lay their heads down in resignation. Denis could not believe one animal would sacrifice himself in this way. He knew many human beings would never do the same. The train was approaching rapidly now, and despite Denis's attempts to get the dogs to leave the tracks, they didn't budge. The train came closer and closer, finally speeding over the two dogs, who lay calmly until it passed. Now Denis understood. The dogs were keeping each other calm as the train passed overhead. The brother kept the sister calm and found food and brought it to her when she was hungry. Denis was amazed at the friendship and love the dogs demonstrated. Denis was determined to keep the dog safe, and he gained the trust of the guardian male by giving him morsels of food. Once the dog realized that Denis meant them no harm, he stopped growling and baring his teeth. Denis waited patiently, feeding the male dog until he could finally manage to pet the injured sister carefully, searching her body for the injury he knew she must have. The male began to allow Denis to come closer. The sister was so tired and injured she couldn't move, and Denis was afraid to move her in case she was badly injured. They say never to move a person if you think they may have broken bones. How could Denis get two dogs to safety away from the train tracks? He finally remembered he had some blankets in his car and carefully wrapped the sister up as tightly as he could to prevent her injuries from moving. Then Denis put her in the trunk of his car, snuggling her up carefully. The male remained where he was, carefully watching Denis. Denis managed to lure him back to the car with treats and got him to jump up and sit next to his sister. Denis drove them to an animal shelter, hoping they would help. Both dogs had full medical exams, and neither had any broken bones. The female was in bad shape and was in shock from living on the railroad tracks. Denis wasn't able to keep the dogs and was afraid that they would be split up and have to live in separate homes. He put his story on Facebook and waited to see if anyone would offer to take them. Denis's story was shared 71,000 times and garnered kind comments from people all over the world. People said Denis was very compassionate and the dogs had characteristics many people don't have. They never abandoned each other and protected each other no matter what. After 4 days, the shelter found the dog's family, who had been searching all over. Dennis took Panda and Lucy home and was so grateful to see them in recovery and safe at home. Dennis didn't want to be a hero, he just wanted everyone to know that Panda was the true hero.